Is the sun bothering you?
I don't care.
Okay,
I have far worse problems than the sun. I'm good.
okay. Do we have anybody online?
Recording.
Okay. We don't have anybody, it's just us.
Does not have anyone on yet, sir.
Okay. Expecting Counselor Lindner, but we'll go ahead and get started. Hopefully she can catch up with us. Okay, so let's go ahead and get our work session started for September 9th, 2024. So the first item on the agenda is,
Senders online.
oh, perfect.
Counselor, can you hear me okay? Counselor Lindner?
Yeah, I couldn't unmute myself. Sorry, I'm here.
Oh, well, you're fine. I just want to make sure you can hear us.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Okay. All right, we're just getting started. So the first item on the agenda is library mediation and next steps. I know we have 4 parties that are going to be part of the mediation with the library. So it's Monroe, Corvallis, Benton County, and South Benton Community Enhancement, correct?
If we were in mediation, yes,
Okay.
correct.
All right, I know we've got someone in mind, Judge Blake.
We asked Judge Blake if he would be willing
Okay.
to. And we also have, we also talked the last meeting about, in an email anyway,
Mhm.
about a task force. And
Right.
Mr. Irvin also suggested that rather than start with a mediator, so I think that's catching everyone up to date.
Right.
But yes, Judge Blake did agree.
Okay.
He is, as a disclosure, wanted me to ensure as a disclosure
Mhm.
that he is our municipal court judge and does municipal court work
Right.
for the city of Corvallis. But
Gotcha.
that's
Okay.
as a judge, not as a legal services.
How many of the parties have agreed so far to have him be the mediator?
I have not had anyone reach out to me explicitly and say yes. I think that my understanding is that I think they're waiting to see how we proceed with it.
Okay, all right. So we've got Judge Blake, as Steve has indicated. He is a judge for the city of Monroe and a judge up in Corvallis as well. I think most of the parties are familiar with him. So I mean, I know Counselor Lindner, you had a question around this.
Yeah,
you-
my earlier question I feel was answered. I wanted to make sure that we found somebody who I know judges are objective, but I thought maybe it would be better to find somebody who is not familiar with any of the involved parties, but I don't know if that's really a possibility anyway.
So I know if we were to seek out somebody else new, they wouldn't be familiar with anything or anybody. So I don't know if that's a plus or a minus, quite frankly.
I think it would add more time, which we don't have as well.
Mhm.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that.
That would be my concern.
I would agree with
That's
that.
good.
too.
It's back to the City of Monroe logo. I don't know if that matters though. I'm the only one on, I think.
Yeah, that's just us. No big deal. Okay. Counselor Myers, did you have any thoughts around that?
No, I understand what Lisa was asking about, Counselor Linder was asking about.
Mhm.
And I understand that, but I also understand our time constraints.
Mhm.
And so I think Judge Blake is agreeable to me.
Okay,
So I
Alright.
don't know him personally,
so
which is a good thing.
the next city council meeting, I'm assuming we'll need to vote on the judge being our mediator.
Yes, you'll have two issues that you'll probably be discussing. As one is a mediator.
Mhm.
The second issue will be how to address the issue. Is it going to be the entire council? Will it be a task force?
Right,
If it is a task force, that is a committee under charter. So the council will have to form that, agree to
Right.
form that.
Mhm.
And then the mayor appoints
Right.
the individuals to it. So that's how our charter works.
Okay. So how do we feel about a task force? And me appointing individuals from each of the parties that are involved to be part of that task force.
My only concern is I'm also wondering if that's going to add time because
Mhm.
especially like for council, if you send one person and then they come back and then other people have questions on the council and stuff, when the council's actually the one kind of voting on it, I'm just concerned that it would cause things to get kicked down the road a little more if we narrow it too much. I don't know. That was just a thought I had. I don't know.
Well, and if I could add, I was thinking about having a couple city councilors on that task force that might help eliminate some of that. Just an idea, thought I'd throw it out there.
Yeah, what does everybody else think?
Yeah, I mean, as long as we get a final vote on it, I especially think it's a good idea to have a couple counselors on there.
Mhm.
And if we have
Okay.
less people that have to be explained to and can do the explaining, that's gonna help everybody.
Okay.
So to be clear, the mayor would only be appointing counselors here. The other parties could have whatever structure they wish. So SBCEA would have their folks.
They choose.
Right.
Benton County would. I don't
Right.
know if Corvallis would necessarily
Mhm.
be a party to the easement process. They might be for the IGA process.
Gotcha.
So, but they would have their own folks come in. So
Sure.
this would be strictly counselors here.
Right.
Oh, I think it might be helpful to have a citizen just as an observer. Even if they just didn't say anything, but were there just to be a witness.
With
Well,
this
you'll
coun-
you'll have all the other parties there.
Sure.
So,
And it will be, it's open, isn't it?
Oh, yes,
It's
has to be an
the
open public.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
it'll
It
be
is open to the
yes.
public,
It has to be open and public
All right,
with
I didn't,
minutes and
because that was one of my concerns too. So
All
I
right.
was like, yeah.
How
that
many
works.
members are we talking about? And can we give them some guidelines about the urgency of this and kind of a protocol for how this needs to be run and when we expect? I mean, because we will only meet so many times before this IGA runs out. And another question I have, is this task force only going to be reviewing the easement and the IGA or one or the other?
I would say that that based upon what council has discussed so far, it would be the easement first and then the IGA in that
Okay.
order.
The one thing I would suggest is trying to get a balanced committee,
Right.
balanced number of members, because if somebody overloads members, negotiations don't go well that way.
True.
That's true.
And so,
Okay.
depending what the other parties decide on, may
Mhm.
change our membership.
Oh, yeah, yeah. That's a good point.
I would just say, just adding, talking to Benton County, talking to the city of Corvallis and talking to Mr. Urban.
Mhm.
I would say that speed is of the essence of getting this resolved. Each party kind of has their own objective with this clearly. But they don't want this to be moving on longer than it needs to be.
And that's another reason to kind of match up personnel.
So can you help me understand a little bit better? So the work session, if we agree with this, what are the next steps at the next city council meeting? We would take a vote
So
on
the
this?
council
Yes,
will go
you
ahead
have
and-
two choices. One would be to hold a special council session if you wish to kick this off as quickly as possible and then approve it. The second one, we'd wait a couple weeks for the regular council meeting. But since we cannot approve anything in this
Right.
meeting, we can make recommendations and
Right.
talk about it. So it'd have to be in a formal session. The mayor could call a special session for a single topic, special session for the purpose of approving a committee to move forward.
And how much
That's it,
public
thank
notice
you.
do we need before that session?
24 hours.
Okay, so it's not something we could do after this meeting.
No, I would have to give notice and let people know that we're
So-
doing it.
Is there a preference?
I'd like to wait till the next regular council meeting.
Okay. Councilor Williams, do you have a preference?
I'm open either way. I would prefer to get the ball rolling, so I
Mm-hmm.
think maybe a special council meeting would be
Okay.
my preference.
What about you, Councilor?
I'm also impatient, but I'll do either. I'm,
Okay.
yeah. And I think it's important. I liked what Harry said about making sure that we're kind of equal in our task force, like
Okay.
finding out maybe what the other groups are thinking and how many they want to have and whatnot, so that we can make it. I just want to make it be able to move as quickly as possible so we can all get a resolution.
But my fear is that sometimes when groups get too big, it kind of stagnates. And so that's another fear of mine. It's
Mhm.
hard to kind of keep that ball rolling.
Right. Okay. Councilor Myers, do you have a reference?
No, I'm out of town next week, so
Oh, so you definitely, it doesn't matter to you.
no. I mean, if you could do it sometime this week, that's great.
Okay.
Or we'll wait till the
Okay.
council meeting. So
I gotta look at the schedule.
Because if we wait till the council meeting, that's 2 weeks from now.
Right, right. Okay. Counselor Linder, did you have a preference? Would you rather do? a
Um, I feel
special-
similarly to Counselor Williams.
Okay.
I like the idea of a special meeting, but I mean, yeah, I don't want it to get too big because we could get bogged down by it, but I also want to move quickly. So I don't know, no preference, I guess.
Okay, all right. I'll take all this feedback into advisement.
And Mr. Bear, I have one more item to add to a special council,
Really?
for, not for library, but
Okay.
a supporting resolution for, our pedestrian path.
Oh, okay.
So that can go forward to, out to, ODOT for,
Okay.
for the preliminary. So that would actually be 2 back-to-back special sessions.
Okay.
They'd probably be very short, but
And that's fine. We can do it back to back.
Good.
Totally.
Is that scheduled already?
no, it is
Okay.
not.
Okay.
A lot of things are coming
That's
through
fine. I was
quickly,
just-
so,
I just wanted to make sure I hadn't missed.
no, you haven't missed
No.
it.
Information. Okay.
You have.
It's-
I've been trying to keep
that-
up
That
with
was
all
hot off the press, so to speak.
Oh, perfect.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, because
Okay.
if we're gonna have to meet for another special one anyway, it might not be too
I think I'm
hard to
definitely leaning towards a
piggyback.
And those could always be online as well. They don't have to be in person unless,
Okay.
yeah, we could do
Okay.
that.
Okay.
Well, I could do that next week then. too.
Yeah, so you could do that online.
All right. Stay tuned. Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. Anything else on library mediation next steps? Counselor Linder, did you have anything else you wanted to add?
Nope.
Okay, great. All right, let's move on. 11:35 grant removal. 11:35 dam removal grant update. If I could read, we'd be in great shape. So, John, I know you've got a draft that you've written, and I know I've read it. So, are you going to finalize that, and you want to bring that to council and share at that point?
I think it'd be great. I can see we can get by the next week, but it'd be great to- This is pretty final.
Okay,
I've sent out the advisory committee,
okay,
few comments back.
okay, okay,
But I think it's a great. Place to begin with answering questions.
Okay.
You might have now, but-
okay. Yeah, do we actually,
Yes, we do.
we do have that here? Oh, we do. Haha.
Handed it
Okay.
out.
Excellent.
And,
Okay, it's in front of us. Counselor Linder, I don't think you're going to have the handout though,
Okay,
but it was emailed to you according to John.
The
Oh,
draft was, yeah.
The draft was, yes. Thank you, Steve, for reminding me of that.
thank you.
So I've read it, so I think I've got my questions have been answered at this point. I don't know about the rest of the city council.
Yes, please.
Yeah, come on up and turn the mic on.
And with the microphone.
Yeah.
Yeah, go right ahead.
You bathed in light.
It's not coming from the back of my head, so it's not a halo. so.
Right.
And I have other information here too, but it's,
Okay.
this, actually, somebody on the advisory committee recommended that I do this. It's been 2 years that we've been working on the group, and we've had various meetings. Now you're in the sun. That's okay. And it was suggested we just kind of pull it all together. So this is, and there's the opening introduction quick kind of sums up how this came about. We really focused, and then there's a section here on kind of where we are right now with the signing of the PPA or
Mhm.
the partnership agreement and the MOU with Longchamp. And then I try to summarize 3 of the key discussions we had, 3 of the key questions and concerns that came up in the last 2 years. Those are the no cost to the city, which was something the city articulated right from the beginning, how many years ago? And so we go into what we've discovered and what we talked about that. Then the second major topic was modification to the drinking water system, the kind of concerns and questions around that, and who we discussed and met with to answer that question. And then the idea of economic development. When we first started with the group, there were a couple of members who said we really need to emphasize the value of this project to Monroe. And we did focus on that as economic renewal and kind of quality of life for the community. And then there were a few other smaller additional discussions that I noted here, just a paragraph or 2. And on page, and I should have numbered these pages, huh? Would have been helpful.
Hmm.
But on page 8, there's just a quick budget summary where we are right now. We can talk about that if you have questions. And the last 2 pages are just more background and when the dates that we actually met. So normally I get up here and talk for 15 minutes. I decided it'd be best to let you folks ask questions and see if we can drill down on any concerns that people have
How many of these have been done?
of the Army Corps projects.
Mhm.
Oh, they, as far as 1135, I think they do 2 or 3 a year. But as far as Army Corps projects in small communities, there's hundreds and hundreds of them that are done.
And have there been other ones where that's their main water source where they're doing it?
I don't know for sure about that, but if they're working in a river, it's probably, they may have a different kind of water in source, water source, but I'm sure they've been working.
It
We-
would
we
be
could- we could- we
interesting
could
to
find
kind
that
of know
out.
about that and how it's worked out. That's still for me, my largest concern ever is that we're taking our water source and making a huge change to it without knowing what the real impact is. We can guess. We can do as many charts and graphs and whatever as need to be done to try to figure it out, but we won't really know till it's done and how that looks. And people need water to survive.
Right.
So for me, that's the very, very scariest part of this. And also with the piece of, we might get along there and then decide that we're not going to be able to do it because of budget. So then we'll have to just stop. We'll just stop the project. Well, not if we don't have water. So where's the caveat in that, that if you're just going to have to be done and there's no more money left and we don't have the water source and it's all screwed up, who's taking care of that? So there's some, to me, those are really huge, impactful things for our community that I would be concerned about.
So we
So-
did, yeah, and I can try to address those. Because it was a very serious concern and we did spend a lot of time looking at it. I think it's important to not, the Long Tom is a source of water for the city and will be for some time, but it can't be a permanent source of water. If we're looking at 10, 15, 20, 30 years, I think we've discussed this before. The well, since I've been here, the discussion is going on about possibly wells, a lot of other things. It's most likely that in 20 years, the city will be on a regional water system. That's what's happening nationally.
Well, we hope.
Yeah,
But once again, that's speculation. Once
Right.
again, looking at the wells like we've done before has all been speculation. And when we looked at it, it was not something that we could afford. So
Right. So-
I understand that,
right.
but we're working on theories here. We're not working on anything concrete. And when you're talking about survival of people, I think we need to have some concretes and not just theories.
Right.
I'll just interject one quick thing.
Mhm.
Your first question about how many of these have been done. Like John, I'm not sure about how many of the Army Corps 1135 projects have been done that included city water systems, but there's, I think like Scott from River Design Group, the engineer that the Watershed Council had hired, like he shared, there's been, even just in Oregon, there's been, numerous, if not dozens of dam removal projects that did involve city water intakes. Like Silverton was the most recent
okay.
example that was shared. So many of those have been done, but not sure how many of those that the Army Corps has done through this specific funding authority.
Because it would be nice to get some information on that and how they kind of worked with that, see if there's any similar situations so that maybe we could glean some good information from that on how they managed that. I just don't know if there's anything super specific to what we're really dealing with, but it just would be nice to be able to see something a little more concrete than somebody did some math over here and what if they didn't math right? And, it's worrisome when it's,
sure,
I
yeah.
mean, for me, that's a survival thing. So I don't, we
Yeah.
can't just be a city without water. That would be incredibly tragic.
I think totally. And I think
So-
speaking for the Watershed Council, we're on board with that. We wouldn't push anything forward that would risk that, like that.
Yeah.
That wouldn't look good for anybody. And we care about, everybody up here, and we're not trying to do anything that would endanger people's well-being or survival like that.
Really, the only thing they're doing is the water flow is what the water flow is, whether the dam's there or not. The only thing we're doing is removing a big stagnant puddle.
Mhm.
And so you may have 3 or 4 days, maybe a week. If the water flow completely cut off, it's going to be gone, it'll be gone either way.
Yeah.
So my point is, it's costing us a lot of money to treat that water the
Mhm.
way it is now.
Mm.
And I can see the cost going down. I could tell you that you could smell it even after our treatment in your hot water heaters. So I don't see it as being a lost water. I mean, it's going to be the same flow we get whether the dam's there or not.
Yeah.
But
I'm
our
terrified
I
of-
agree.
What about the intake and
Well,
whatnot though?
that's the thing that we have to get done. That would be the high priority, is get the intake.
Right.
Now, I know in the past, the city has looked at wells, but we also looked at a pipeline all the way from the Willamette River.
Yep.
And that would be quite a project.
I think
It would.
this was a very critical question. And I think that's why we spent so much time looking at that question. We want to make sure the inflow water take systems work, and actually they're more common in Northwest than the kind of pool water intake. So most cities who are pulling from a river have an inflow water take system. They're
Okay.
very common. They've been done extensively. We wanted to make sure that was true. The Army Corps is well aware of the transition that has to happen. They've mentioned that at that point, they will be working carefully with the city and the engineers to make that transition. There's suggested ways they can improve that already. There are temporary systems that can go in while they're doing the construction, permanent systems that would go in, after the construction. So first, we want to make sure the inflow intake systems are actually rock solid and work.
Mhm.
And they are proven all over the Northwest. Then we looked at the water flow. There's some question about the water flow changing. And again, that we have a bigger access to water upstream. And when you look at potential water quality, as was mentioned, that would happen here, and the guaranteed flow levels, there'll be plenty of water coming down the river. And actually, if you have a pool water or inflow, it's kind of the same concern. And if we're going to worry about that, then I want to look at other concerns, other potential disasters. I think more likely is having the dam fail or end of life. And then the city would be in a really bad situation.
Mhm.
This is a proactive way for the city to get a new water intake system, do so now, and avoid a potential catastrophe with a dam or the sluice or anything else. So if you look at all the potential things that could happen,
Mhm.
then it's at some point that a new system and a new water inflow may make more sense for the city in the long run.
And then in doing all this, like I said, it was talked about that if the money runs out, the project stops. How do we ensure that if the project's gonna stop, we're still gonna, that if the money runs out and the project stops, but our inflow system or whatever you're doing isn't done yet,
They're the guardrails.
how do we cover ourselves
Yeah,
with
and
that?
that's again kind of a worst case scenario that we have to consider.
Right.
But the many checks and balances and experience that the Army Corps has with these things and the checks and balance to avoid, that kind of scenario is very unlikely to happen if you look at all the checks and balances we have to make sure we know ahead of time.
But what if it did?
Well, but at the same time, what if the dam fails?
No, I get that.
Yeah.
I get that.
So it's being proactive, and we can find any kind of contract, there's always some concern. So the work that the Longtown Watershed Council has done, the Army Corps has done, and the City Council has done is to minimize those concerns, to feel a high sense of confidence that that kind of worst case scenario is not going to be a reality, but it still has to be entertained.
And I can share about my understanding of the financial situation in terms of the funds that we've secured. The first one is the 25% match for the Army Corps project. I think we've got 620,000 or something like that secured to go towards that, the total cost of the Army Corps project. And the current estimate includes 25% contingency from the Army Corps. So they're already shooting high, and they've told us from day one that the goal is to, come in lower than what their estimate is. So we, and they also talked about what do they call them? Gates or,
Yeah,
there's different,
guardrails.
there's different,
Mhm.
there's different points where I think they call it the project coordination team, which will be,
Mhm.
whoever, you guys designate to be on that. And I hope that they'll allow the Watershed Council to be on it again. So there's a lot of checkpoints where as we go through the project, they talk finances. So, there's like, you start with the design. We've already got enough of the cost share secured from our grant sources to cover the design phase. So we can work our way through that, well more than fully funded. And then as the design develops, I'm sure the cost estimate will get much more accurate. And then before all the parties decide to move into that construction phase, we'll know what the estimated cost is, and then they'll get the bids. And I think at that point, if it's like, whoa, we don't have enough funding to do this, we need to, press pause, and the Watershed Council will go out and secure more funds to make sure that the whole package is fully funded. And I agree. You wouldn't want to be stuck short in the middle of the project with, the water system not working. So I think that there's a lot of checks and balances or gates or whatever you want to call them, where before that big step, that leap is taken, that everybody would want to be 100% certain that all the funds were there and ready to, be paid to the core. So
Has this committee been
I think-
established?
I'm sorry, I think that the biggest concern is like the cutover part. And I presume you will have the cutover devices in the water before the pool is taken down.
what do you mean cut over?
What,
You mean the intake?
the intakes, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ah.
yeah.
Oh, like switching, like
Yeah, yeah,
switch to a
you-
temporary one and then to
Before the permanent, you have to get the water down to build the permanent one. So
Yeah.
you're gonna have some temporary ones there.
Yep.
Mm.
Yep.
And so if anything happens with the money, the temporary ones are gonna stay there probably.
Uh-huh.
I mean, you're not gonna be able to just pull them up because that would
Right.
cause all kinds of problems.
Right.
And, so.
Yeah, and I just don't think we wouldn't even start construction if we didn't know that we saw the bids from the contractor. And yes, the Watershed Council has raised this 25% of that.
Yeah.
Yes, let's do this. We're not gonna like, oh, we can start. Well,
Yeah.
we're still raising funds. We'll make it happen. I don't think anybody wants to operate like that in something this serious. So
No.
yeah, I don't think we would even start unless we knew.
I come from a construction background and I've seen a lot of overruns, so that's
Uh-huh.
where I get real.
Like
on a-
change orders and things
Oh,
like
yeah,
that.
when you
Yep.
get on this,
Yep.
it can be very
Yeah.
concerning,
Yeah.
so.
So-
That stage gate is going to help us. That's project management. That's what we do in project management. That
Mhm.
gives me a lot of relief,
Mhm.
but it also begs the question, I want to know what each gate looks like.
Mhm.
What's that pass? So that we can continue to move forward and have the confidence that, we're not going to have a lot of overs.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I want to know what each gate, what the metrics are that need to be met so that we get the green light to go.
Yeah, you mentioned that last time, and again, on page 3, that's not numbered.
Okay.
Those 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 kind
1,
of
2,
gates
3,
are
okay.
listed there.
1, 2, 3.
And it's a guardrails basically, and there's
Yes.
a set of them listed that are in the PP, in the partnership agreement now. And again, the Army Corps has a long history of avoiding exactly that kind of situation. And the closer we get to the cutover, the more we're going to be sure that everything is a go.
Is there a committee that's going to review this? And has that been established?
So the mayor has asked the advisory committee to keep going and keep
Okay.
talking.
So we
There'll
have
be
the
a
ad hoc
working
advisory
group,
Yeah.
committee.
which would be the Longtown Watershed Council, the city representative with the reports back and forth.
So
to
it's the
city.
same committee, perfect.
And then,
And then specifically for the 1135 project, the core forms a
Yeah.
project coordination team, which is all of their specialists. And in the past, it was, depending on the topic of the meeting, Steve would join or John or I can't remember who else maybe on the city's behalf, but and the Watershed Council was always there. And in the past, we had that consultant river design group from Corvallis that we would bring them into the meetings if it was a topic that made sense for. So that'll be specifically for the 1135 project, separate from the council's committee for this. That'll be the team that is kind of working through the project coordination.
Perfect.
Is there any chargebacks on the project contracts to enforce performance? Like a chargeback to the contractor if they screw up or do something faulty?
So I'm not sure about the Army Corps' construction contract. So they'll manage the contract for the
Okay,
the
they
work.
probably can't even do that in there.
Yeah, I'm not sure, except, and then separate from that is the water intake, replacing that, which we already have secured grant funds for. So that'll be up to the Watershed Council managing that contract in close coordination with Steve and the city.
So you said you had a set aside, so like 10% held back until everything's approved?
Yeah,
25%.
uh,
A 25% contingency.
contingency,
Oh,
yeah.
okay,
on the
So
project
that's,
right
that's
now.
associated with the current budget estimate. So they made their best guess on the budget estimate and then added 25%. That's the total numbers that the Corps is
Okay.
presented to us at this point.
Have you ever seen them go over by more than 25%? Is that a common thing or?
I can't speak to that. I'm sure there's got to be examples of it happening.
Mhm.
But from day one, like I said, their goal has been to set the bar at the very upper end, maximum what they think it's going to be.
Yeah.
And then so that we'll always end up coming in less than that, unless of course it drags on for, years and years and inflation, keeps skyrocketing.
Mhm.
But
And it sounds pretty safe that maximum estimate plus 25%. Is that a correct assumption there or?
yeah, I know that at one point the consulting engineer that we had hired
Mhm.
thought that it would be like in the $2 million range, and what's their estimate at 3.2 or something?
Total.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's about 3.2 is what their current estimate
Okay,
is. So
that's,
the Corps' first estimate was like 10 million, and everybody was like, whoa, it's not that big of a dam. It can't cost that much, so
Mhm.
they've already like narrowed it down, brought it closer to reality. So it feels like the 3.1 or 2 or whatever is a relatively, a good high end estimate from what I've understood.
Okay.
Based on our engineer's experience.
I forgot to ask way back when we were meeting years ago, but has there been any earthquake assessment that might, put some emphasis on getting this done faster? Because there was just an earthquake off Abandon this week, so.
I'm not familiar with any earthquake assessment. I know that the Corps did, they did like a safety analysis of the Monroe drop structure maybe 10 years ago, and they didn't find any deficiencies. That was before the sluice gate failed.
Yeah,
so.
and didn't Fern Ridge have a problem with one of the earthquakes a
I'm
few years ago?
not sure. Yeah. I know they had to do an emergency repair
Yeah,
in maybe like 2006. That could have
Yeah.
been from that.
But I guess the earthquake scenario, as we all know, is,
it's an unknown.
it's unknown, but it's unfortunately, it's an increased reality in
Yes,
this
it
area.
does.
Well, I'm just saying that's another
Yeah.
part for why we shouldn't
Right,
delay this. We
right.
should get
Mhm.
going.
I think in one of our discussions, that's why I kept coming back, is, be proactive instead of waiting for the disaster. What can we do to be proactive? And I don't know if we have, I don't know what this town will look like if Fern Ridge goes, but I think we'll have plenty of water.
Yeah.
But I don't know what that would look like.
For a few minutes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think it was, it'd come up over 99, but it wouldn't come up to this far.
Yeah.
Is
I
the
think
study I saw.
The last mat would go out the other way.
Yeah, most of it's
Head
gonna
east.
go up.
Go east, yeah.
But again, you asked about the checks and balances, and if you're familiar with contracts, take a look at those too.
Yeah,
and
thank
see,
you.
Make
Mhm.
sure they're clear.
Would examples like Silverton was mentioned, would
Mhm.
that help you? I mean,
Did
it
Klamath
doesn't-
Falls have any
I'm just
water intakes?
asking,
I'm just
I'm just
trying to
picking.
help.
I'd be happy to.
I'm just trying to think
An
of what other
illustration.
people would ask.
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I'd be happy to, we could check with Silverton, and check with our
Rogue
engineer for
didn't-
other examples too.
Yeah, 'cause-
Example, Rogue River.
I think that'd be
Rogue
helpful.
Falls,
So they just did
Rogue-
4 dams, right?
Well,
Those are a whole nother
Yeah, but they're
can of worms.
That was a whole
Yeah.
different scenario.
Yeah.
But I didn't know if there was any water intake there. that
I
they
can
had.
certainly ask. Yeah, our River Design Group, they had a small kind of, not a major role in those projects, but they're familiar with what is going on there. So I'd be happy to do that.
you think you can get those examples to us by the next city council meeting?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so. Yeah. Yep.
Okay, that'd be great.
Yep.
Thank you, Jed.
Yep.
If anyone's interested, my understanding is Silverton is also getting ready to put in a third pump in their water intake because I don't know, the first two, they thought it was, they think it's working out really well, but the city is continuing to grow and they left themselves some room for growth.
Oh,
They
okay.
are getting ready to put in that third pump. And I think that that is,
That's
I mean,
great.
obviously Silverton is a lot bigger than Monroe. They're about 10,000 people for population. So they probably
Okay.
have that need much more than we do, but I like the flexibility of being able to grow and add on to it if we need to.
Agreed.
Not that we would ever need to accommodate 10,000 people in Monroe. Hopefully
Well,
not.
I'll add to that, because you do have limits, 350 gallons a minute.
Right.
It is 24/7. I told John we're about
Mhm.
20% or so, 22% of that. We can add 100 pumps, but it would still be
Can't
only
process it.
350 gallons a minute.
Right.
So
Yeah.
there's limited amount of processing we can do.
Right.
Um,
The flow is our choke.
The flow is the choke,
Okay.
right? 350 gallons a minute or 0.72 or 7 to 8 cubic
0.78,
feet
yeah.
per second
Yeah, so it's just, it's not the flow of the river as much as it
is how much
permits,
we draw from it.
how much what your
Right.
permit is.
Right, it's
Yeah.
not the flow. So the flow at 34 cubic feet per second, low flow is more than enough because we only use the max I can use, I only use about 20, a quarter of that
Mhm.
per day at the
Right.
moment. The second question is how much can we really do? It's about a population of about 4,000. At that point, you're limited by that 350 gallons a minute, but that's
Okay.
also running the water plant 24/7 too. So
24/7, right.
All the time.
different shifts
There
now.
are-
Right, you
Yeah.
have more,
Running more
people
people, more
and-
costs, but you also have 4,000 people. So
Okay.
Yeah.
one would assume your water rates will account for that.
And we
But
did-
I just want to make sure that
Right.
that's the limitation, that
Okay.
there's lots of water in the river.
Mhm.
It's just that we're limited by how
Understood.
much we can. grab.
Right.
Thank
We
you.
did make sure that the inflow pumps can max out that permit and go beyond it if needed by adding additional pumps.
Mhm.
We're not priority though, are we?
No, we are not. We do not have what they call superior water rights to anyone upstream from us. So however, the Corps manages it very well. And as long as there's water in Fern Ridge,
Mhm.
we're fine.
Knock on wood.
So that's kind of your big thing.
Yeah.
If Fern Ridge runs out, then
There we have a problem.
yeah.
Big-
But
But also, it's not just us that have that problem. It's everybody upstream. I mean, as John said, like
Right.
we're probably looking at the next 15 to 20 years of finding a longer term, more sustainable water distribution system in the Willamette Valley. And I don't think we can't rely on Fern Ridge as a community long term anyway.
well, you're in line with everyone I've heard over the last 20 years.
Mhm.
Would that
Okay.
be correct,
Good.
Counselor Myers?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
That'd be correct.
And just a little bit more information. We have, I think, about the grant that we got from the Oregon Watershed Enhancement Board for the intake is, I think, about $700,000 is for contracts and materials for the intake. That includes, I think, 2 pumps. That would, well, obviously we coordinate with Steve and the consultant that's
Mhm.
working on the new treatment plant to make sure everything works well together. But we already have the funding for the 2 pumps and the intake, new intake system.
So the only other thing I'll add with that is Oregon Health Authority, and we discussed this before, they have to approve all engineering, plus they have to approve the cutover. They have to approve the plan for cutting over from our old intake to the new intake. So they have to review it. We pay them $800 for that privilege. And they bless the plans and make sure the plan for moving over is sane and there's no disruption of water.
OHA?
OHA, yes. Oregon Health Authority.
Okay.
So,
And just all these questions are certainly a priority with the Army Corps too. And in talking to Elliot Porter, who's a project manager for the Army Corps, he did talk about, once the PPA is signed, the very first thing you do is get their team together with the folks here. And it's a water intake cutover, the ODOT bridge. They want to start those discussions right away to make sure those are
Mhm.
well organized, well
Good.
planned.
Good.
Meeting with the group in Corvallis, understanding what it looks like.
Mhm.
They've said that they want that plan early so that when they do get into the river channel, they can design and build the river channel to accommodate the intake, whatever it is. So They
Mm.
are supportive and understand it's a priority, as well as cost share. They're something they do not want to do to anybody. But at the same time, you're not quite sure. The design phase will do a much deeper analysis of the river channel to find if there's any, anything of concern in there. So they haven't done that yet, but in the design phase, they do a very, very careful analysis of the river channel, what's under the river, how much sediment is in there. Take a good look at the actual drop structure itself to make sure their proposal of removing it is rock solid. There's a lot of checks and balances that go into that project. And it has been done a lot, but we'll find out how many times and if anybody had any trouble.
It just, I'm sure that somebody's looking at that
Yeah.
and studying from what they've done before.
Right.
It's just would be nice also to be able to kind of hear it on this end so that we know.
Yeah, and
Yeah, and they did run into a problem and this is how they fixed it. And so, that would just be nice.
we did have this Iowa, there were case studies where they talk a little bit about that. I can go through this again too. But I think they removed 23 drop structures in Iowa because of the danger and because of the failing drop structure. So so I can look through here to see if there's any, we'll talk about the water intake too. So we,
That'd be great. Thank
yeah,
you.
there's been a lot done there.
So what other questions do we have for John and Jed?
I'm satisfied.
Nothing at the moment. Thank you.
Real quick,
Thank you, guys.
thanks. So the PPA, the partnership agreement is now here, right? And
So yes, so the step for the council, and I think this addresses some of your concerns,
Mhm.
is that the PPA is with our attorney,
Mhm.
okay, as well as the memorandum of understanding and the certificates of authority, which our council has to sign off on, saying that she's reviewed the documents and we are a real city and we are capable of doing this. I have to sign off on it for financial obligations that we understand that we owe. I mean, it's very explicit.
Mhm.
So the attorney has all this information, plus some of the concerns that have been raised. The email I think I sent to you regarding from the questions and answers from Elliot Porter. I forwarded that message as well as part of the bundle. So she has that. She was off last week, but she is in her office and she is reviewing it. I let her know that the library at the moment we're forming a committee, and so please give your attention to this. There's a lot for her to look at, so I'm hoping it can be done fairly quickly, but she has a lot of other folks to deal with, so. But I just want to let you know that she has all the documents.
Okay, very good.
When can we expect
I don't know.
communication back? Okay.
I don't know. It took about a week and a half for the library agreements.
And then she was.
And
off
I have,
last
and
week.
these are not small agreements.
Right,
These are very
yeah.
large agreements. So
Right.
I will be happy, however, to forward these to you, the same package. I just haven't had time.
I
today
would
to do that.
appreciate it.
Sure.
I'd be curious too.
Yeah, I'll send you the entire package that I sent the attorney, so you can see the same information, read through it.
That'd be
Thank
great.
you.
Thank
Thank
you.
And I do think luckily the current PPA is very similar to the ones that came before. They all talk about cost share and everything else. And I
Right.
keep looking for changes and there aren't very many of them.
No, he didn't. I just want to make sure that the project management pieces are codified someplace in there. These are the ones that, the gateways, as he calls them.
Mhm.
I just want, we're just doing the basic risk management and that way, when the attorney comes back, she will have a written opinion as to any changes or issues that might need to be addressed. And then you folks will have the entire picture.
Sounds good.
To make a decision.
Okay.
There you go.
The MOU that we drafted up was based on the previous one that.
Right, and I saw
Yep,
that, so
Yep.
it's,
Similar
I'm
template.
just, I read through it very quickly and sent it off to the person who has to read it
Yep.
very carefully.
Right.
And then I don't know the timing for this with all the workload by next council meeting.
I let her know that we have a council meeting coming up.
Mhm.
I said September 30th seems to be a big issue for Elliott since it
Yes.
is the end of their fiscal year.
Right.
So I have, since this is her first day back after a week, I'm sure I will hear back from her tomorrow. She's very responsive, but probably tomorrow morning. that she's received it and she's reviewing it. And she also will ask any questions. If there are questions, Jed, I'll get them off immediately to you.
Great.
I'll get you guys in contact. I'm not gonna try to play intermediary. Just let you guys work it out.
Sounds great.
But I would say between now and the 20, any other questions that come up or after reading this, something pops up or you need some more information, don't hesitate to reach out. And we'll do the best we can to provide any kind of additional information you need.
Thank you very much, John. Thank you, Jen.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you, John.
Okay. Excuse me. Next on the agenda, City Hall next steps. We've talked about
I just.
Different
it's- it's
options on this
different
one.
Options. It's,
Yeah,
so, I've had lots of people coming to me asking me to tear down the Reader Building, if they could do that. So, and I have to put an RFP out, I guess, for that, since I have competitors there. I had another individual say it would be nothing to tear down City Hall and rebuild something on top of it. So I guess those are all, and cheaper than a modular unit. I'm not sure how that works, but I'm always interested in people that are willing to save us money. But that's where we're at, is
Okay.
getting the costs together for, and options
Different
and costs, so that we can make a decision.
Okay.
I was thinking something outside of the box, like getting the contractor to donate labor or something like that.
Actually, one of them did. So that's, now that folks are understanding that we have an issue,
Well, that would be a tax break for them.
yes, it would be. So certainly open to negotiating as what we can do to get things done
Mhm.
quickly, efficiently, and with the least cost to the city of Monroe.
What even them pay us to do it?
There we go. I think it, well, like for instance, tearing down the Reader Building, there is lumber in there.
Sure.
And people are willing to, trade the lumber for that. We can do that as long as we give everyone an opportunity
Right.
to,
Yes.
Yeah.
bid on it, but we can then defray the costs that way. So
Have you reached out, Steve, have you spoken with local contractors and demo groups already, or are we still in like would we do an
We're looking
RFP for
at-
that, or like what's the?
it's only local people who have come
Okay.
out and talked, and I have always preferred local folks.
Yeah.
The local folks have, some will bid together, some won't. They rotate amongst themselves.
Mhm.
And we understand that and respect that. Some things will have to be, like electrical will have to be, we'll have to, but
Mhm.
there's nothing that says like we did with the park that we can't, be the general contractor on it and just bid out the pieces, parts and pieces
Got it.
to it.
Mhm.
I think there's a lot of opportunity for local folks to do things and I mean, I always prefer to use folks that are here. Like I was just talking to Scott Bailey up on 11th Street doing a project.
Mhm.
Asked him about some gravel and stuff we need down at the park. And, a lot of times what they'll do is we buy the gravel and they'll just dump it. And that's great. I mean,
It's a huge blessing.
it is a huge
Mhm.
blessing.
Yes.
And the same with Brian Ellsworth.
Mhm.
The same with Seth Brown with Kipco. I
Mhm.
mean,
Mhm.
they're all
Right.
very generous to the city. I'd like to keep it that way.
Okay, great. Thank you. Transfer update or transfer station update.
Well, some time ago, if you recall, Chris Barnes, Fire Chief Barnes,
Mhm.
came here and asked about using the transfer station. So I had to unravel, it's like a big onion. And so I've been unraveling it. And the fact of the matter is the state of Oregon has their tentacles in the whole thing.
Oh, joy.
The DE, even though it is not being used as a transfer station and the lease from Republic Services ended a long time ago, the state of Oregon still believes it's a transfer station. So the DEQ has a hold of it. And the state of Oregon has a hold of the access to it. There's actually two parcels of land. The first is the road that leads to the area where you would dump and store the
Right.
stuff for transfer. Then there's the transfer station itself. So I finally got through to a DEQ person who actually is in charge of that, but that was last month. Yeah, I know.
Amazing.
Counselors like amazing.
Wow.
However, with the library and everything else, I have not been able to follow up with that phone call. So
Gotcha.
it's on my list of many things to do. I think it's a great place for the fire department to have that out rather than the lot across from their fire station to do that kind of training. I'm just trying to unravel it and get it out. Yeah, just telling we're not using it as a transfer station, and it hasn't been for some time now, a couple decades, I think. 1999,
Yeah,
I
it's
think
been a
was the
while.
last.
Wow.
When the lease ran out, I said, yeah, no, you guys, and they were surprised. They just keep thinking it's a, state of Oregon. I mean, why wouldn't they?
Right.
No one's ever talked to them about it before. So anyway, that's where you're at. I still think it's a great idea. We do not use it other than for burning brush in the springtime or fall.
Right.
And if the fire department can get training use out of it.
Yeah.
rather
Let
than the
them
lot.
burn the brush. It'd
You
be
let them
awesome.
burn the brush and let them, I mean, it's much better than
Mm.
across the way.
The only thing I see it used as a quote unquote transfer station is when Republic brings their bins down for the spring cleanup.
Spring cleanup. And so that was something I tasked Mark with to think about how we would do that.
I mean, I think they've kind of done it over at the high school before.
They've done it at the high school. They have done it at the high school.
And maybe they could still do it there. Could they kind of share or not really?
And Fire Chief Barnes said that he would be willing to allow that to occur. It's really very, that they would need a little bit of structure, but mostly they want to take their broken cars and things and be able
Right.
to set a fire and be able to enter. What we have over there is really quite nice
Mhm.
to
Be
do a
perfect
building
for it.
entry type of,
Right.
a training.
Build a tower like
Right.
Corvallis had done.
Right. The only thing, and I also double checked too, PFAS, the forever
Mhm.
plastics. That was found a lot in the older versions of AFFF, aqueous foam, aqueous
Firefighting.
firefighting foam. Yes, AFFF,
Yeah.
aqueous firefighting foam. It makes your skin very itchy if you get it on you. From experience.
Some of
But
it's
it's
chicken
bad
blood.
stuff. But now they don't make it with that stuff. And that's where you're finding it is in locations where a lot of firefighting training and it got
Oh,
into the
gotcha.
groundwater.
Right.
But Chris says that's not an issue. They don't use that any longer.
Okay, that's good.
So
Right.
anyway, DEQ was asking me, and that's the reason why I bring it up. They were asking me, well, now that they understood what I was doing, they're asking me lots of questions. So in the process, I hope that they can just release it and let us use it, but the state, what do they say about government? Works slow but exceedingly fine. So there's your update.
Thank you. Okay, so the next item on the agenda is a new discussion item. Projected housing development, and we have a
Right,
nifty little
and
map
let
here on the
me
table.
Put this on the screen.
Oh, so Councilor Linder can
Yes,
see it.
there you
Folks in the
go.
room.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anything for Councilor Linder.
Oh, shucks.
And that was sincere too.
Aw.
All right, so what you have, the areas, this is Monroe and all of our little lots courtesy of the Benton County tax assessor lot map with all the layers removed except for the tax lots. And the areas in orange, I am currently in some stage of application for development. This very, very small one in the middle is probably first. That's the multifamily unit on Kelly Street.
Okay.
This is Mr. Bound's property next to Councilor Myers. That's 5 units there. This is PND, Pacific National Development. This is actually includes, I'm sorry, I because of the way they draw polygons, I had to include Councilor Winter's house. That would not be developed, but this is that big
You don't want to be redeveloped, do you?
redeveloped development there. But they're in the process now of finalizing their permit and they are getting ready for a pre-application with the city. This is about 26 homes here. This area below is the area east of Red Hills. This is being actually rezoned now the GRB. It was GRA. This is similar to Red Hills GRB. They're kind of limited here in how many homes they can put in because of the wetlands. But regardless, this area up here, this little square, this is Sam Picarello's property that was sold to his brother John, who is selling it to a very nice Thai family who would like to put a home here. So that is actually in the process of being sold and a residence will be there. I got some work to do with this easement, but
Yeah,
um,
that's a funny one.
it is, and it wasn't another one that was done but never recorded properly.
Right.
And last, I am in the same group that is talking to me about the PND property to develop. They're also looking at the Kathy Loving property simultaneously. With this property, I already let them know this area up front is commercial and we're not interested in rezoning it anything but commercial. This is the area that lots right up against Highway 99.
Mhm.
Okay, that, by the way, that is the gas station, A&W Subway. I'll let council choose which one. But that's up front. The rest is light industrial. However, the planning commission has already indicated that if it wishes to be housing, that's fine. We do have this area behind here is light industrial. The GRB in this area is what we are looking at, a land swap down below. So
Mhm.
I just want to make sure that you were aware that this development up between Mill and Fur up by the mayor's house is probably further off. The ones here in the center, right here, are going to be within the next few years.
Okay.
This one down here probably in the 3-year mark, and this is probably in the 5-year mark. This will add about 100 homes to Monroe.
All this together.
All
correct?
this together will add about 100 homes to Monroe. So about twice what Red Hills added. So
Do you believe the water system can handle an additional?
we can handle it.
Okay. Just making sure.
There won't be an issue handling it. We, you know, again, our population would need to be up around 4,000
Okay.
folks. With this amount of population added, we probably, as a proactive measure, want to look at aerated lagoons instead of
Right.
non-aerated
We talked about
facultative
that.
lagoons.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand that. one.
Aerated, we put bubblers.
Aerators in there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we put
Okay, so that
bubblers,
it's not
yeah.
stagnant.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yep. Keep it moving.
Fizzy bubbles. We want to bring the stuff from below and bring it up, aerate it and bring it back down so the little microbes can do their thing.
Hey,
And keep
Steve,
our lagoons free. Yes, Counselor.
where are the lagoons relative to here? Is it those two large squarish things or is it to the right of the two large squarish
Okay,
things?
do you see where my cursor's at?
Yeah,
Okay, this is where this little square here is the primary lagoon, 1 acre.
okay,
This area right here is 2 acre. And this, which is interestingly enough, outside of our urban growth boundary and city property, is a 7 acre pond. That's our finished pond right here.
okay, got it.
So
Thank you.
that's the location. Our lift station is right there,
Mhm.
right exactly where my little pointer is.
Yeah,
Pumps across this direction and down this way and right to there. And then it empties into the lagoons.
and what, I assume that developers would need to do some pipe work and plumbing and, I mean, obviously the houses themselves, but is that part of town well connected already since there are already a few homes to the north, or are they gonna have to do a lot of extra work?
Their biggest work, the water for all these is readily available. Sewer is available. What they will have to all work on, and the Corps of Engineers is kind of wizened up a little bit here, is the stormwater.
Okay,
And
Got
we
it.
are, the engineers for P&D, I think, did a great job. It was reviewed by Branch Engineering. They felt it was a superior job to that. The one down here, they know they will have to redirect water. Fortunately, they have a lot of options down here with sloughs coming off this area. It's not like Red Hills, which is actually catching all this water coming down off this hill, which
Yeah.
all goes down along the 10th Street homes. And
yeah,
that was a problem. They should have built a French drain
Mhm.
on the back side here. If this gets developed, the French drain will go in. So, and I know folks, they get concerned about the development and stormwater, but the truth is that once you start developing in this, it actually starts gathering the stormwater and channels it correctly,
Yeah.
rather than just flow across the land and underneath
Yep, yep,
everything. You
yep.
start to catch it earlier and move it to the right place sooner. And
That
so
makes
there's a lot of benefit to it, but
Is it just your pixels or does Pine Street not go through that one section there that's blocked for?
let's see here if I can,
Enhance.
Yeah, it looks like it doesn't go through.
Yeah, so Pine Street, this is the library right here, and this is the Sixth Street easement right here. This is the rail easement coming through here, and that's Pine Street, and it stops.
Okay. So Steve, the former Wilbur Ellis property, that's not getting rezoned as part of this?
Yes, as tomorrow evening is our hearing, the planning
you.
commission hearing.
Gotcha.
So Wilbur, this,
Isn't that the next item?
yeah, it's in our, that's what, it'll be, you'll have a hearing.
Eventually.
Yes, you'll have a hearing at the next meeting,
Yes,
your hearing.
yes.
To approve it. We get,
Mhm.
you will review the recommendations from planning council
Mhm.
and approve them or not, or approve them with recommendations.
Mhm.
You have all sorts of options. This is going from GRA to GRB.
Mhm.
That's probably the best for that because of the wetlands. It'll give a lot
Well,
more
it sounds like it's gonna
flexibility.
mirror what Red Hills is already anyway.
Right, and it's exactly. This whole area right here is going GRB because most of the lots are GRB anyway.
Right.
So that doesn't make any sense to be GRA. Why, anyway?
Why?
I,
Yeah.
Might as well just make them all. area.
that's the story of my life is wise.
Remind me what the difference is. Isn't GRB more medium density?
Yeah,
So we can
GRB,
have-
so GRA, which is single family residence, is 8,000 square foot minimum lots.
Oh,
And
8,000.
GRB is 5,500.
Okay,
The state of Oregon has said that we aren't going, that they are not going to approve in the zoning process anything like an 8,000 square foot again. So
Yeah,
it'll
it-
be grandfathered in, but you're not going to be able to create new 8,000 square foot lots.
When I built in 96, we had to sign something that we would not go below 7,500, I think it was.
oh,
Mhm.
You know, and the lot behind me went in on, they called it grandfather, but wasn't really because the lady was been dead for 20 years. And went in on a 5,500, which makes sense.
And yeah, most of these in your area are all
And that house
small
just sold.
lots.
It got, some people moved in this weekend.
Really? The
Yeah.
Divernus house?
Mhm.
Wow, cool.
I think.
Yes, you're right, Diddy, because they came in for an application.
Got that. So that's good. I'm glad to see the development because I had two houses disappear on each side of me and I was apologizing to Steve. Water sometimes sits in our pipes because we don't use it enough or don't have enough people using it.
Mhm.
And so that's what happens
yep.
Mhm.
is when
Mhm.
people are gone,
Mhm.
my water gets bad because I don't use enough to
Mhm.
flush the
Flush the
pipes.
pipes.
Right.
But we do have water and sewer all the way down that alleyway.
You do, yeah. It comes all the way down, right down
Houses all
this,
have
right,
water, yeah.
right here, all the way through, and it cuts across right there.
Mhm.
This
Oh.
property is already commercial here. This back here is medium, what we call light industrial. That any developer, they know this, they would have to come and have it rezoned.
Yep.
They'd have to go through planning and to council to have it rezoned.
So what are we trying to do the Wilbur Ellis to?
This is commercial.
Is it gonna stay commercial then?
It's gonna go commercial, gonna go take it, want to take it out of medium industrial, light industrial.
Industrial, no
And-
commercial.
Mhm.
And make it commercial. The area where we have our little public park area here is light industrial.
Railroad.
How Benton County property could be that, I don't know. Again, we're fixing it. It's gonna become
Mhm.
public
Right.
property.
Yeah.
Mhm. Gotcha.
I think it was the original, the railroad owned all of that to the highway.
Yes,
Oh, that's,
yeah. And
So
so,
explain why it's zoned
yeah,
that
that
way.
makes sense.
Yeah.
so it's now P.
They actually owned a little spot on the Wilbur Ellis too, a little square.
They did,
Yeah.
yeah. So anyway, I just want to make sure that you know, because this ties in the water and development and
Mhm.
everything
Yes.
else.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's a great map.
Sometimes it takes more to make a city run because larger governments dictate what we have to do and it raises the costs. So you either grow or die on the vine.
You do. Well, this will get us closer to the critical mass, you know, I know everyone would like a small town. But a small town at 1,200 people is
Still a
is
small
still
town.
a small town. But at 1,200 to 1,400, that is considered in Oregon right now kind of critical mass in terms of getting enough revenue to support your city. And so that's kind of what you do after that. Now you want to make sure that as you start filling in these things, it's done in a nice planned fashion. But at this point, when you put these homes in, the discussions will be, okay, we need to put aerators in the facultative pond. Are we charging enough to make sure that the water? Do we have to, for instance, take new homes and charge them a different rate? Because they are now, so those are all different things that you have. USDA does not like that, by the way, but other cities do.
Would that be recoverable in the SDCs?
Some of it would be, but not all of it. So we can have tier systems, certainly, but we are scrutinized by the USDA to make sure that our water is affordable.
Sorry, can you help me understand, why would we charge new homes a different rate than the rest of the town if they're already paying SDCs and a normal water rate? Unless
So,
I misheard.
right now, I'm running the water plant 6 to 8 hours a day,
Mhm.
depending on the time of year. If we grow the population by 100 more homes, okay, which is double what Red Hills has, then
Yeah.
I will have to put a second shift onto the water plant. The
Yeah.
rest of the citizens were just fine. They didn't have to
Oh.
pay for that second shift, but the new citizens do.
So it'd be
Got
a
it.
charge.
So it might be a tier,
Yeah.
a tier rating. They might have a different tier, but that again, and sometimes it's just across the board. The USDA would say, raise it across the board,
Right.
but those are options.
Thank you.
But you're not there yet. You're a few years away from that.
Just a little bit, yeah.
And a lot of things can happen in a couple of years.
AI is going to start running our plant.
That would be great. That way I wouldn't have
You wouldn't
to,
have to be up all night.
yeah, Mark is on reserve next 2 weeks, so
Mm.
it would be great to have AI down there.
Yeah.
Well, maybe
Taking
upgrade
care
to
of it.
Windows 7.
Windows 7.
Well, it's on XP right now.
Oh, God.
I'm not kidding.
Main controller is in fact XP, embedded XP.
That's old.
Long ago, yes. Okay, thank you very much, sir, for that update. We've got, the next items on the agenda are for the next city council meeting, which is on September 23rd.
To the 23rd?
Third, yes, I believe that's correct.
Yeah, it says 26 here, doesn't it?
I didn't know if you meant, I said December.
No, 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 no.
Or you meant the date.
No, the date.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I checked earlier.
Yeah.
So.
I was thinking.
We've got a zoning land use hearing, which we've already touched on that, so I think we're okay there. Lodging tax ordinance that coincides with discussions we've already had with,
Approving short-term rentals.
yes, thank you. My short-term rentals just escaped my brain. And then we've talked to John
Mhm.
already about the 1135 agreement with the Army Corps of Engineers, and then the MOU and all that stuff right now is with the attorney.
It
So
is, so I'm
hopefully
hoping
we'll have
if
it.
it's, yes, that is a asterisk there
Yes,
with return. from
crossing
attorney.
fingers, hoping that we will. So, beyond all of that, other business. The first responders event, I had to cancel it because we had a conflict with the football game
Oh,
and going back and forth, and I may just leave it canceled at this point. I don't want to tax our existing resources, our first responders,
Okay.
with another event.
Take it off my calendar.
And I know the sheriff's office, they will have deputies at the Halloween Spectacular anyway. So I think we just leave it be and we'll plan for it next year instead. I do want to do a proclamation for the first responders, which I normally do.
Would be
So
great.
I will do that, and that'll be in the next city council meeting that we can vote on. Other than that, is there anything else any of the other counselors would like to bring up? We need to discuss?
Hoping everybody stays safe and hydrated in the heat. And looking forward to the rain.
Yes,
Wednesday is our first taste.
yep.
I do have something. I'm not sure if this is the appropriate forum to bring it up, but this is regarding the library. I'm a resident of the city of Monroe. And since all this Facebook stuff with the library has happened, I have been harassed. My family has been harassed. I had surgery on my eye on Friday and I came home and I was harassed by my neighbors. I wasn't even able to get into my door and recuperate. And I've about had it up to here with this. I don't think I can be impartial moving forward. So I'd like to recuse myself from anything that involves the library from here on out. I'm appalled and I am very discouraged.
It's terrible.
It is terrible. It's terrible because we sit here to do the best thing for our community, the best thing that we can. And you had an advocate in me. No more, no more.
Already hear that.
I'm very sorry to hear
I don't
that.
blame her.
It's,
I understand. I'm very sorry.
Sorry, Counselor Williams.
thank you.
Can I speak to this?
Briefly, go ahead. Come on up to the mic, Harry.
We're gonna do this.
I know. Remember what I said.
I know. Well, it came up spontaneously.
That's all right. Go ahead.
All right. Well, I'll just keep it brief. I wasn't aware that I was going to say this today. So it came to my attention that the social media posts were of damaging, of such extreme damage in the past 2 weeks to me. And as such, it's an interesting experience to go through this. But I have become aware of how personally damaging it's been to individuals on the council. And insofar as that I've been part of that, I wanted to offer an apology to all the city councilors, a personal apology. And I guess to keep it brief, I did engage in a social media post, which was I felt an advocacy of what you're doing. I thought it went well to change course. It's unfortunate that social media is the town square that we have. But there you have it. And one can only do what can do to, how should I say, roll back the damage that's been done. So that's just wanted to offer that, and I'm truly am sorry. And if you would like to talk afterwards, I'd like to talk with you and we can chat about it.
I would
Okay.
not.
Oh, okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Aria.
Okay, counselors, anything else? Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and adjourn.
Okay.
Thank you all for being here this evening.
Good night,
Have a
Councilwoman.
good evening.
Right.